Hey everyone, welcome. Our guest today is Maja Voje, founder of Growth Lab, where she has led growth initiatives for tech giants like Google, Rocket Internet, and global brands such as Bayer and Heineken. Maya's expertise in building communities and scaling businesses through strategic go to market motions has impacted about 6,500 plus professionals through workshops, educational programs. In fact, fun fact, I did one of her courses and it was awesome. Right? She's also the author of a best-selling book called Go to Market Strategist. Maya, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, Karan, thank you so much for inviting me here. But I must say immediately that I'm not the star of the show today. So you literally woke up at 6:30 in the morning in order to do this stream. I will promise to make it a little bit easier for you. So yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for everybody who's watching. We definitely anticipate your active participation because why not? I mean, it's so much fun if you are asking questions as well, right?
Absolutely. So, can you walk us through your journey on how you came to focus on helping businesses scale through community building and growth strategies? Like, what led to the inception of Growth Lab?
Right. Okay. So it's more of like my lifetime of story, and since I am pretty old, 36 to be exact, I will try to make it short for you, so it will be interesting. So I started my career actually in public sector, but soon I realized that I don't want to work in government, so I went to work on technology companies that I'm actually interested in. And what you do, like if you are there as somebody who doesn't know to code, you have to lead marketing, you have to lead growth, and you do a little bit of people's and operations as well, right? So you kind of have to wear a lot of hats. But as things got a little bit clearer in my head, what do I want to do in my life? I became in love with this idea how to bring innovation to the market. And having worked with a lot of developers and tech people, the situation always was here is the awesome product. We spent like 1 year building it. Now get us 10,000 users and good luck. And I was like, yeah. That would be a little bit difficult because this product has never seen a person before. And there are a bunch of learnings that we have to do previously. So I went and I studied just like this area of growth marketing and growth and how to launch things in a very inexpensive manner, because I come from the part of Europe where the capital is extremely scarce. So you have to work a lot with go-to-market motions that are either cheap or very like even for free. We prefer to do stuff for free whenever possible. So yeah, I was there and everybody told me that we did product market fit. And I was like, what is product market fit? I mean, how can we know that we have product market fit? Like, often enough, you probably sooner know that you don't have it than when you have it. And whatever I was reading about these like Airbnbs and Dropboxes and all the legendary stuff, I was like, yay, cool, but I sit here in my basement with 10 other developers and I have to make this somehow happen within our scarce resources. So this is how I became obsessed with this area of go-to-market, how to make sure that we are giving our products the best chance with the resources that we have, no matter how limited they are. The strategy is all about prioritization of those resources towards the opportunities that we are trying to pursue. So that in a nutshell is my career, and I haven't evolved much since. I'm still obsessed with go-to-market.
Awesome. Right. And so, Maya, let's talk about go to market, right? Like, what role do communities play in driving sustainable growth? And like, how should growth stage companies think of building communities?
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, let's start maybe like pre-product market fit, because communities are usually where early adopters are hanging, right? So when you don't know what to do, you are probably in some professional groups and you ask your peers, like, what's the best email marketing tool? What's the best tool for CRM or something like that? You are harvesting trusted recommendation. And we said before, as a company who's operating with very scarce resources, you have to go and like try to decently penetrate those external communities first. I think this is super important because in the beginning you don't even have like enough resources to start something by yourself. I mean, you can, but most often it's going to be crickets. So you have to go to either like Reddit, sometimes in Facebook group, LinkedIn is a huge one in B2B, and go where the audience is and try to capture capture the attention which is already there. How you do it is a different beast, because you cannot be just like, hi, I wrote this book, go to market strategies, bye, bye, bye. Communities are a very intimate space. You first have to earn their trust. You have to just like be there and give value before you have any sort of chance that you would be promoting yourselves. Otherwise, like, you will be banished. People just hate that when it comes to communities, right? So this is how you do it, like even pre-product market fit. I have like a lot of teams right now that are working on AI agents, and like, believe it or not, they have had 1,000 plus registrations from posting in a couple of Facebook groups, some of them. And this is like so easy to do if you go where the audience is and they are actively discussing their problem there, and B, when you are adding value or asking for feedback, when you are a decent human being, not like a promotion trash can. So yeah, it's very easy to even start in the communities. Now, as the companies are evolving, communities become this valuable retention and customer feedback vehicle. So you kind of want to start building community of your own, right? To just like have deeper and more intimate relationships with your customers. And as things are evolving, you know, it's so delicate to even like assign community management sometimes, because who is an owner of a community? Sometimes people say that they are like people from marketing. If the product is technical, you will have to send your developers there to be active, right? So again, ask yourself, in what way can you add value? Community, the essence of community is a double-sided communication. It's a multiple level communication. It's not like me writing dumb Facebook posts so that people tag their friends to win free dinner. This is not a community. This is a giveaway, one-to-many communication. So what you're trying to do is to build like genuine human interactions. Is that always possible? No. I mean, there are communities in which people are just obsessed. When we were working with Bayer, for example, we had a community of like female students, and we were discussing like intimate health. And those discussions were fierce. I mean, it was so important to just like start speaking about this subject. The same would happen if you would be dealing with moms or vegans. In B2B world, like, people are as religious when it comes to, I don't know, some sort of tool selection, like CRM, for example, or email marketing that we mentioned before, because once you're locked, you're really locked. And analytical software. Oh my God, analytical software. You are done with those for like 5+ years. So what I'm saying is that you should really, really, really think, where does the community fit in your natural customer journey, right? Because you can first, it's not a great idea for everybody to just like build their own community, because that's always a cold start. I mean, you can start, you can invite your 50 friends, and then what should you do next? You should like post there and hope that everybody will invite other people into the community. This is the type of stuff that we are dealing with in communities. And there is some really, really, really cool thing that we have to talk about as well: enterprise communities. Oftentimes people mistaken communities for platforms. So they say like LinkedIn community and Discord community and I don't know, Facebook community. But in fact, there are communities that are completely under the radar. So these are professional communities, for example, that may or may not even have like a digital space where they meet. This can be like events. This can be like a very close platform. And the only way how you for surely know that this community list that you are tackling here is relevant is if you are asking your audience, where do they get the information which is like relevant for their problem space, for their work, and inspiration. So you have to like, again, go where the audience is. Sorry, that was way too long, but as you imagine, I'm very passionate about this subject because this is how I literally grew my career as well.
Right. And no, this is great. I would love to double click on one or two points, right? Like you say, you have to build intimate relationships. Uh, how do you do that? Like by showing up every day, like you said, don't promote
Everybody
yourself.
asks me that. I don't know, like for me, it comes so natural because I'm just like the type of the person who likes other people and I'm interested in what's on their mind and I love helping them out. And I'm not saying that not everybody is the same and this is like a very, very, very special talent or something like that. There are a lot of people who are genuinely kind. But the thing is that you have to build relationships even with your early adopters. Because if you are building beta, for example, you want this open line of communication there, and you should express a little bit of gratitude, sometimes even like white gloves onboarding, red carpet treatments and stuff like that, to show the appreciation. People have taken a huge risk for selecting you. You should be there and acknowledging that. The second thing, which is super important here, is adding value. So you need to be sure that what is interesting for your audience. You can do this by testing different content ideas, or again, you can go and ask them, like, what's on your mind? What is keeping you awake at night would be a little bit too extreme, but you know what I mean. How can I add value into your life? There is this saying from Wine Combinator that as long as you are talking with 5 customers per day, you should be fine. Now imagine having a thriving community which gives you so much feedback. So how to be active first? I mean, just be grateful for the support and appreciation that you are getting from users, and become obsessed with adding value. I mean, you have to deserve their time, their attention every single day. And this is your proactive role. I mean, there are also like stuff that your moms taught you, how to be nice people and behave as a decent human being. But okay, that's beyond the professional discussion that we have here.
Right. And then, like, you highlighted in your book, Go to Market Strategist, saying poor positioning is a major reason for failure in the go to market phase. Right. So, what are some of the key elements of strong positioning, and how can businesses craft a compelling narrative?
Okay, so we went from communities to positioning now. Copy it. I will bring in another example of AI agents, because so many people in my ecosystem are building AI agents, aka digital workers right now, and positioning is a huge pain in the arse there, because everybody's selling me horizontal AI agents. So some sort of agents that can do like a little bit of marketing work, a little bit of sales work, and a little bit of admin. And I'm just like having, as a user, so much difficulty differentiated between like what is good for me and how the perception that you need to create on the market is that you are uniquely good at serving a certain audience, that you are the one, that you are a go-to choice for solving this type of problem. Now, community here can be, again, a huge differentiator, because if I see a thriving community out there, like good social numbers, I immediately trust it more. But back to the core elements of positioning. Lesson number 1, first thing that you need to realize is that you are always positioned against something or someone. So remember agents, for example, right? If I am building an agent for marketing, I am replacing something or someone. And there are a couple of options how my target audience could be solving this problem differently. For example, they can DIY something, hire another person, or outsource this to a freelancer or an agency. There is a second bucket. There is like direct competition always going on in the market. Well, some can even decide that they will ignore this problem, that they will not solve this immediately, or you have like more indirect competition. For example, that they would tweak something in another tool, or just like do a couple of integrations with Zapier, and they would kind of like utilize and build something that would replace them. How you know these competitive alternatives? You ask people. So have you solved this problem before? What else are you considering in addition to us when you are doing this comparison before your purchase? So that's one horizon. The second one are criteria. What is important to your target audience? Right? And as we are diving into this, these are not always only rational criteria. Sometimes I love to have this joke that your only job is literally to get your decision maker promoted, that you will have to make them look good. But nevertheless, Just please again source from the interviews. Don't go and do this desktop research and like review sites comparisons, because the good stuff is within your people. So after you understand your competition arena, you need to be very, very, very centered on the question, how am I different? What is really different about me, right? And oftentimes when I'm doing this work with companies, they would say things like customer support. But that, I mean, it's very difficult to validate before the purchase, and everybody would say to you that they have like good customer support. Have you ever seen that somebody would write on their website that their customer support sucks? No. But we
No.
have this experience from being a user. But the thing is that we really, really, really have to be radically honest here. And again, like we can ask our audience, why did you choose us over an X alternative, right? And there is a bunch of stuff that we can capture from our reviews. If we have like genuine customer reviews, that will help us think, what are our unique differentiators? How are we uniquely positioned towards the competitive arena that we know from before? Now, our main job in positioning and just messaging work is to develop and defend UVP and USP. UVP is unique value proposition, meaning unique promise that you are giving to your customers. What will you do for them? And in B2B, things are super easy. It usually comes down with saving time, money, or doing something more efficiently, like better. So here is where we really, really, really need to be laser focused on the best type of promise for our target audience. And then we have unique selling propositions. Why us? Why are we different? Why are we the only choice that this persona that we are so focused on has to getting this job done? So it's impossible to grasp the majority of these elements right now, like from talking from the head, right? You have to do some testing. How you do testing of your initial ideas for positioning and messaging is literally, you can A/B test this with ads and on landing pages. You can send out a bunch of like LinkedIn DMs with different like hooks and you can see what sticks better, or you can test it on a sales calls. Oh, I accidentally just walk you through the entire positioning process. Now you are sure that I'm doing this on a daily basis, because people have huge problems with this. And I think the essence comes from them being like so obsessed with this product vision that they have, which is further down the line. But in order to win the next milestone that we have as a business, we need to stay focused on either use case, one persona, or just like a case study that we have in our business. So yeah, that's in a nutshell how I think and fight positioning dilemmas in my business.
Beautiful. Any examples come to mind where, like on the B2B side, you worked on the positioning, right? Like, and really like the thing turned around?
Tons. I mean, the harder the tech is, the more likely it is that you will fail in communicating it in the same way that for your persona. So for example, we were working with, let's say, VR for production companies, right? And it was like augmented reality, something, a bunch of buzzwords, headline on the website. Whereas the decision maker here was a manager of a production plant. Now imagine this discrepancy between like the knowledge of their technical teams versus the guy who would literally just like to get his maintenance done faster. Guess what? After we change it to more like human language which like celebrates the benefit that the customer is getting, things were immediately better. We created a pipeline of 14 million with a single outbound campaign after we started to pitch these benefits more clearly. I mean, this stuff is super powerful. The problem is that sometimes people are even too smart, right? So you are into deep into what you are doing, and like rule of thumb is the more technically complex your solution is, the dumber we have to make it look, especially if there is like the huge knowledge asymmetry between you guys who are developing the product and the end decision maker. And I'm not trying like to be too like simplistic about things, but this is this is a huge problem in business, because if you send like your engineers to do demos or something like that, you know what will happen. They will show the audience through like 25 features, talking like all the nitty gritty and how this knowledge AI was very complex to develop, without even understanding what matters to the target audience. So as soon as we can start talking the same language with our target audience, things get better. And by the way, I'm not a positioning expert. This is just something that I have to fix very frequently as we are doing this holistic go-to-market work. If I can fix it easily, I will. Otherwise, I will send them to more, let's say, prominent experts who will do a bunch of different research. But, you know, like my nature is, here is a problem. Now it's mission critical, fix it.
Right. Right. No, and you've built partnerships with fast-growing companies like Miro, Amplitude, User Pilot, right? So, how important is strategic partnership in a company's go-to-market motion? And how
Yeah,
do you
it's
identify the right partners to scale for growth?
I mean, in my line of business, it's literally out of 7 go-to-market motions that I have defined in my book. I'm using 3 very extensively. The first one is inbound. So I just celebrated 50K followers on LinkedIn today. I'm so happy about this. Yay! So inbound is huge. I literally spent like 15 hours a week creating content, interacting with people. This is like very important driver in my business. The second one are partnerships. Partnerships can either be regional. For example, right now I have a partnership to then launch like a go-to-market strategies book in Spanish. I still don't know the title. It's not going to be Vamos al Mercado. I'm positive of that. But yeah, so this is for unlocking different geographies, because obviously I do not have like local knowledge how to open these markets. And there are also like different promotions and different marketing partnerships. So I work with competitor and experts, people who get like my target audience before they are ready for my type of services. So there is like a little bit of business development there going on. And when it comes to like bigger companies, we are working a lot on just like educating the market. Why is this important? Co-creating the content together, highlighting their best practices, because like at the end of the day, I consider the majority of what I'm doing an educational work, because like this is how I see the transformation in the world, through better information, through better intelligence, through better knowledge. So this is kind of how I try to position myself. But at the end of the day, whatever like it comes to partnerships, we have to consider that it is like a long game. Sometimes you can nail this from the get-go, but that's very difficult. So if you don't have like previous case studies and connections and like technology which is radically new, it is unlikely that sometimes somebody is just going to say, oh, you're cute, let's be partners, high five, I'll send you some leads. That almost never happens. So yeah, then we have the third vehicle like in my business, which is literally outreach. And outreach is super important, especially because it comes from communities, right? I do a lot of warm outreach myself, because guess what? There are 2 ways how customers will know you exist. First, they find you, or you tell them that they exist, right? And especially if we are operating within the communities as well, it is so easy to just like say, hi, wow, I think that I saw that you are interested in how to do like GTM for corpus or something like that. I have this cool framework. Look, here is a link, eager to talk if you consider it valid or something like that. So again, out of 7 go-to-market motions, there will be few, 2 or 3 that work from you when you are starting out. Later on, when you're bigger, you can utilize everything, but not just yet, because otherwise you will scatter yourself too thin.
Wow. Right. And things on that, Maya. So people are saying outbound is dead, right? Like,
Yes, let them think that it is that. So I will continue doing this.
right. Exactly. So in outbound, right? Like email, LinkedIn, calling, there are multiple people we talk to on a daily basis who say it's still working. What has been
It
your
is working. I mean, this is how we met. You did like a little bit of outbound, so we are like on the call today. It is working, full stock.
right, right? But like one thing which we cannot deny, right, is like because of AI, the amount of emails or LinkedIn messages people have started getting or receiving have gone
Mhm.
up on an average, right? So buyers are finding it exceedingly tough and for sellers to like stand out, right, in that mailbox. So what have you seen, like, have you had to make any changes to improve like open rates, response rates on the outbound side?
Yeah, so whenever the channel gets more difficult, you have to either change it be due to the diminishing returns, or you need to get better. And how I see a lot of my colleagues, myself included, doing a better job with this is to use Clay, for example, for data enrichment, right? So you do it less, but you do it better. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'm doing outbound at the moment as we are speaking. I have an automation flowing out and producing like tangible results.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you will not convince me that outbound doesn't work until I have my data in. But nevertheless, it's all about like creating better offers, doing more personalization. And personalization doesn't mean, hi, Karan, I see that you work a lot of like these LinkedIn lives. I have this cool CMO who is very eager to speak. Would you consider hosting them? Because that's like alternately rubbish. But to just like think again, as we said at the community, what is the added value that I'm bringing on the table, right? What is in it for my decision maker? So in the first sequence, we usually just like touch the ground. So we just like say, hey, I've done like something super cool. Like here's is like a couple of snippets of the value that is being produced for the specific lead that we are targeting with. I mean, if you have a case study, that will be like awesome to mention as well in the first or the second email. But I mean, I don't know what to say exactly because it works.
Yeah. And what about AI? How are you using AI to make yourself more efficient and productive? Any tools? Any
Yeah, I
like
don't like to shield tools publicly because I'm dealing with a bunch of partnerships and I don't want to talk about specific tools.
yeah.
So Clay is a long-term partner that I'm very eager to highlight again and again. But I mean, for my personal productivity, Claude got a little bit worse this time. I don't know if you're a user, but I kind of like get a little bit of a weird vibes from Claude lately. Then like ChatGPT, but this is boring shit. So the reason why I'm not name dropping tools right now is because I work with a lot of AI companies, and it would not be fair to just like name drop a couple of ones that I'm currently obsessed with.
Okay, great. We'll move on to the next one.
Yes,
Right.
excellent.
In your book, you mention, you provided actionable steps and some like 135 frameworks. Could you share an example of a lesser known framework that has proven particularly impactful for your clients?
Yeah, so I just explained you the positioning framework before, right? So that's literally one of my favorite templates that I'm using.
Like
Then,
less, like
huh?
people don't know much about it, and you're like, well, you know what, this one really works.
Yeah. Positioning is the one which is super, super, super. And like always, my bestseller is go to market power hour. Because whenever I'm seeing those go to market documents by companies, those are like creepy stuff. These are like 100 pages documents that nobody reads, or like long, very long slideshows that are impossible to comprehend, even with their team members, not like when we are talking with external vendors. So I'm very much like this template, go to market power hour, that I created based on my hand drawings. Like I was working live with teams. I was drawing this on the whiteboard for like 300 times before it became a template. So this one is specifically near and dear to my heart, and promise that it was tested on developers as well. So as long as it survived development, the developers, the rest will be fine.
We're coming to the end. This has been great. So,
No worries.
I've seen 7 things. I like, so outbound, inbound. We briefly touched on it, right? Communities, PLG. We didn't get a chance to talk about PLG. Partnerships, we touched on it, right? And then I think in the 7 you have events and ads. Are
Yeah,
those?
no, I don't highlight events as a standalone go-to-market motion because not. It hasn't been like a thing consistently through my portfolio. I still think that as the same applies for product development, we need to feel this stuff from like other go-to-market motions, that people just don't magically show up if you announce that you have the event, but we have to feel it. But nevertheless, this is my grunge with events, which wonderfully works well for the enterprise clients that I'm dealing with, but less so if you are just like this small mini company. Where we forgot about account-based marketing and account-based sales which is huge, which is going to be huge in 2025. A lot of my companies that I'm working with, this is one of the three main bets. And here is where we can like dive into the beautiful world of tools and data enrichment and whatnot that you guys are an expert in. I really have to like slowly wrap up because in a minute I have another call. So sorry.
I think we are coming to the end.
Cool.
It was great chatting with you. I think we need to have a follow-on session. There's too much to pack in 30 minutes with you. You're a powerhouse, so we'll follow up with you again.
Okay, so you got a little bit of taste of what
Yes.
I like to talk about today, and then you select the best subject with your audience. Sorry that we didn't have time to answer a couple of questions from the audience as well, because that's literally my favorite part. But it's a Black Friday week, so I gotta run, people.
Right. No, absolutely. Thanks, Maya.